Hi, this is Troy, and I want to give you a tour of the Turbo Skylane RG fuel and power computer that was issued and shipped with brand new Cessna TR-182s in the late 70s and early 1980s. You'll find few of these still around, and it's a pretty simple slide rule computer. It's two-sided. The reverse has a standard E6B sectional pocket, easy to use and pretty simple to turn here. Standard index at the top. Some information that you could use in flight as quick reference, and it has a ruler scale for both standard sectional and world charts. Of course, most of us are using digital charts these days. All right, the flip side, though, is the interesting part. And I just want to talk through how this works. It's fairly simple. There's two portions to this that move. You have this inner scale that rotates and sets percentage power, and then this top index underneath it that spins and is used for two purposes. One is for us to select a pressure altitude and determine the standard temperature at that altitude. Then we refer to this bottom chart. We'll go through an example in a minute. We refer to the bottom chart and the current power settings to determine what percent power that would be on a standard day. We set that standard power under this index here, and then we use this index to determine what our actual power is as a function of being warmer than standard or cooler than standard. So let's work through an example here. Let's say we're flying at 2300 RPM and 23 inches of manifold pressure up at the service ceiling of the aircraft, flight level 200. So if we use the speed index here and we set 200, we can see, and we probably don't even need to set that, right, because it's at the top of the scale, makes it pretty easy, but standard temperature at that altitude would be negative 25 degrees Celsius. We check our outside air temperature gauge, and we see that the actual temperature is minus 20. So we're 5 degrees warmer than standard. But referring to the chart here, we would expect at 23 inches of manifold pressure and 2300 RPM at 20,000 feet for our power to be 69%. So we spin this little wheel here and set 69% power. And as you'll see, as I rotate this around to standard, that is set for 69% power. It's probably tweak this just a little bit more that way. That's about 69, right? And at 0, 69% power, and it's going to be about 13.2, 13.3 gallons per hour is what we would expect to be setting for our mixture and our fuel consumption. But we are operating at 5 degrees warmer than standard, so we'll go that direction. This is 10, so we're going to split the difference. 5 degrees warmer than standard, we would actually be creating about 68% power and consuming 13 gallons per hour. If it was cooler than standard, then the air is denser, and thus we're going to burn more fuel and thus create more horsepower. In this example, 20 degrees cooler than standard would have us burning 13.8 gallons and generating about 73.5% power. That's how the computer works. Pretty cool. You'll notice they call it the Datalizer 500. This one was issued in September of 1978 and was included with my 1980 Cessna TR-182. Hope you enjoyed the tour.